Well, I feel that we're looking for that strong-willed sister who is doing her thing, but at the same time, and let me play devil's advocate just for a tad bit also. I don't want us to be building monuments of where the sister has gone on, done well, and now you can't touch her though, because I'm hearing as I travel across uh, southeast Alabama and the panhandle of Florida, I'm hearing that sisters who are pharmacists and who are entrepreneurs and who are young doctors, because they concentrated so much on their studies, they concentrated so much on what they're doing, they didn't allow themselves time to breathe and for God to use that man to come to them. Now, I don't believe in selling. I have my ambitions, I have my hopes, but at the same time, I accept what God allows. And a lot of times we are so busy doing our own thing that we miss out on what the essence of the beauty is of dating, of having a mate. Because none of us are perfect, and sometimes we can have our map so mapped out that's that we miss the mark because of what we want. But I had to realize, even for myself, being a pastor, it ain't always about what I want. It's about what God has for me. And because I am a finite creature, that I have to be careful, as in, because like I say, I've been criticized for a whole lot of my views, but I stick to those, and I'm willing to accept what God allows for me. So okay, black men have to stand up to the plate. They got to come to the plate. They can't get intimidated because the sister has her own independent mind. I like that, but at the same time, we got to work together. It can't be a 60-40. It can't be a 51-49. It has to be a 100-100, actually. I know they say, well, that don't equal 100. Yeah, because if I'm giving 100 and you giving 100, if you divide that, guess what? We still together. So I think that's the epitome. And even though I put my worldly goods first, God is the center of my joy and my focus. So after you put him in this, if you put him in the middle, everything else will work out.
What you're saying is that the women have concentrated so much on bettering themselves that they didn't allow for someone to come into their circle.
I believe that's that we've created, because I was listening to Ro, even though that's a very good stance to have at her age and her position in school, being able to concentrate and do what she needs to do. She said, I think I heard her say that I'm not concentrating on that at that time. So when you have already conditioned your mind to do what you need to do. I heard a guy tell me one day, well, when my daughter finishes grad school, her boyfriend at least need to finish such and such. And so I think that's why I feel if I'm finna work on my doctoral program, then why can't my future helpmate be helping herself and me help her at least work toward a nominal goal of having a baccalaureate degree? Which I understand a degree, once again, is not everything. I went to a job when I first finished undergrad. I went to work in the oil field. A criminology degree in the oil field, it don't work. They didn't care nothing about that. So I had to tuck that up under, get out there and make do for me and for what I was working for. But that degree, 6 months later with the same company, allowed me to move in the office. It gives you the flexibility. You know what I'm saying? Because we say you have God's favor, but Luke 2:52 says you have favor of God and man. So, it's good for God to be able to endow you, but he has to move on the heart of the man or woman who sits behind the other door, who is the pencil pusher.
Okay. Well, we've gotten some sides on each of this here. Okay, young women. Okay, y'all, come on, poop up with me here. I don't know. I still want to keep asking this question though about, and when I say what is it that men are looking for, because something that came up, Ro Pauline said this, in jail, bisexual or gay, we hear about the down low brother all the time, but there's also biracial relationships, and not to knock it, because I don't think there's anything wrong if this is the person that you choose to love. I don't see anything wrong with biracial relationships. But on the same token, I do think that people should not just say, I just want a white girl or I just want a white man, and you don't look at everything, that you never know what God is going to bring to you. And so we see that there are a lot of black men that seem to prefer white women, and I'm not knocking my sisters because they're my sisters too. But then, you have to wonder, what is it that makes them think that way, as if they're thinking that a black woman is not good enough. I've heard that come out of their mouth in such a way that it's almost like, well, what's wrong with a black woman? Because then that's a reflection on how you feel about your mother. I mean, does anyone want to make a comment about that?
A personal situation, this was several years ago. Struggling, single mom, trying to make ends meet, so what have you. And I was on my way to the laundromat. And in front of the laundromat was a bus stop. I was driving a little Toyota Corolla, nothing extravagant, but it's my little Corolla, And a gentleman, and that's really using it, wildly, had called over to me, "Yo, shorty," and I'm like, okay. He wasn't talking to me, I didn't respond. He's like, "I know you hear me talking to you." And I turned, I'm like, "You talking to me?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you. I know you heard me." And I'm like, oh my goodness. He had this attitude, like, kind of frightening, And I'm like, "I'm sorry, but, that's not how you address me." And the first words coming out of my mouth, "Oh, you too good for, a Negro. You must be looking for one of them white men." And I'm like, oh my goodness, because I don't want you calling me shawty. Can you address me like a lady? And it just really hurt my feelings, because no, I wasn't looking for that. But I want somebody that's going to respect me, and I don't put a color on that. I want, respect. And it's a shame that that's the way they look at it. But I also must say, with as many successful men that do venture off to interracial relationships, okay, when you do that, then what does that leave the successful African American with? Okay, if you decide to go with, the other, white women or what have you, then their white men are also looking for something. But you're taking ours, but we're wrong for doing that, but that's what you left us with, so it goes both ways, We have to both check each other. But I also believe that I don't have a problem with interracial relationships, but I don't look for that. Whatever happens, just happens. But whoever it is going to be someone that respects me and is successful in my eye, not necessarily monetarily value, but in themselves. They're successful in their mind thinking and the way they run their house home, the way they treat their woman. Just in life in general, not just I make these many figures, because you can have those figures and be just as lonely as you want to be.
That's right.
Okay. I believe that since I have seen the movie, So Why Did I Get Married? I believe that interracial relationships, especially for my sisters, as beautiful as these sisters are, if you choose to go outside of your race, I believe you're getting their 20. And for those of you who've seen So Why Did I Get Married, you know what that means. If I choose to go outside, and I do have many friends of the opposite race friends, and that's what they will remain. If they have questions on me and likes me, I've always, when going to a predominantly Anglo-Saxon school for my undergraduate studies, I've as